If I managed to move to a completely different continent and build here a career I love and my dream life, so can you. This video is for everyone who thinks that their dreams are unreachable, but especially for my earlier self and to prove the point that yes, Marcus, you can do it. Yes, the sky is the limit for you. So, to better understand what those dreams were and how I actually built a career in Germany, I want to go back in time. In my family, nobody really spoke different languages. The longest travels we would do were 2 to 5 hours away from our hometown, driving to one of the beaches in the south of Brazil. The information we would get about the world outside was mainly through television, either the news or watching some telenovelas. Nevertheless, in this environment, I was absolutely fascinated about everything that happened outside of Brazil. So the most natural thing for me was to think that the only way to do it was to become an international reporter and work for the TV, going abroad and telling stories about things that were happening outside of Brazil. What I did was to research how can I become an international correspondent. I soon found out that almost all of them spoke various languages. And in the second place, almost all of them had started really early in their careers. I was at the time 13 years old. I was getting into high school soon, and I decided that I wanted to do a part-time job working for a local TV company in my city. I applied for the part-time job in a program called Menor Aprendiz, or Minor Apprentice, in a free translation into English. And this allows you to work, if you study in the afternoon, to work in the morning or vice versa, and got a job to work 20 hours a week at the local TV channel in my city. I went there and I was doing absolutely stupid work where I actually learned so many skills and soft skills and interacting and being in a work environment, but the work was like counting pens or archiving things and doing stuff like that. But it didn't matter because I loved it so much. I got to get in touch with the journalists, see how the TV works, and also earn a little bit of money. Back in the day, I was earning around 300 reais a month. With that money, I decided to learn a further language. I already had some English from school and from some courses that I was doing on the side, and I decided that I wanted to learn some different exotic language, at least from the perspective of a Brazilian. And I decided to learn German. Took all of my savings and went to the Goethe Institute of my city. That's the official German school from the German government. Went there and applied for a scholarship, got it, and started learning German at a very fast pace. At the same time, I found out that one of the women that was doing the tours in the TV channel had a sister that just came back from Germany and was starting an organization to receive and accompany exchange students in my city. So they would organize encounters at bars for them to do language exchange and exchange their experiences that they were having during their time in Brazil. Also events, parties, hikes, and so on and so forth with the international students, and I became absolutely fascinated with it and started participating in these events and met people from all of the continents who spoke various different languages, learned lots of things with them. And the more I dived into this international environment, the more I knew that this was exactly what I wanted to do for life. To have contact with people from different backgrounds, speak different languages, bring this internationality, and to feed this curiosity that I had about the world outside of Brazil. There was only one problem with it. I knew that I had absolutely not the means for doing it. Why? Well, if I wanted to study the whole time abroad, I would have to have lots of money, and I didn't have that. Or have a scholarship, which I also didn't have. If I wanted to get a job after finishing my studies in Brazil and get a job abroad, I would have to be in tech from what my research in the area was telling me back in the day, or to have an engineering degree. And I started to become very anxious about this topic and to have lots of thoughts about what I could do. Until I found out that in my city there was a program in which I would get a double degree, meaning I would study 3 years in Brazil, a degree in business, and 1.5 years in Germany and get 1 degree from each country. I thought this might be risky, but this might just be the perfect opportunity for you, Marcus, to gather some time for you to figure out the financial thing of studying abroad, and at the same time for you to make yourself more desirable for the German market, because what I thought is maybe with a German degree, it might be easier for you to get a job in Germany. And at the end, it is. If you saw my video last week about how to plan your career abroad, you already know that in Germany, if you have a German degree, you might get pretty much any job in your field as long as the salary is compatible to the average. So in one thing I was right, but in a second thought, I didn't really have anything that made me special back at that time. So I was going to work in a country where I'm not speaking the language as a mother tongue. I did not have any relevant experience in Germany whatsoever. I do not have any experience in Brazil whatsoever, but I can build that. So how can I make myself more desirable for the German market? It was pretty funny because when I was 17, I actually just sat down and wrote a plan of how can I make this feasible for me without being an engineer, without being a software developer, because those were the 2 main areas where I knew people could get a job abroad easily. I knew I was a people's person. So how can I make this work for me? And I wrote down that what would be pretty valuable for me was if I got in Brazil experience at German companies. So I researched each and every German company that had some sort of office or factory or whatever in my city and started applying for jobs even before I started university. So I was 17, university would start in February, and already in December I was applying for all of those internships. In Brazil, it is possible for you, for instance, to study in the evening, which was what I was doing, and for you to work during the daytime. So I applied for internships at Bosch, at Bose, at Audi, at VW, and so on and so forth. And at the end, I was lucky enough to get a place to study at this college and do this international business program, and also do an internship at Audi for 2 years. So I would wake up at 5 a.m. in the morning, go to the internship 1.5 hours with a bus, do it 2 hours back. It was a bus from the company, study until 11 in the evening, or 10:30 would be 11 as I arrived home, and then repeat the process in the following day. It might sound extremely tiring, but it was one of the best experiences I've had, because when I was there, I realized this is what I want to do. I was dealing with expatriates, with people who came from Germany and from Hungary to work in Brazil, and I was getting to speak different languages every day, find out about their cultures, develop myself extremely, and to be in this situation where I had to bring results and do things in a different language. I was extremely excited about it. I was blooming, giving my best, and at the end it was recognized. One of the directors that worked at this factory came to me one day and said, "Hey Marcus, you're doing an amazing job. Would you have any interest of doing an internship in Germany?" So I thought, okay, I'll do it. I will give everything for realizing this dream. So this is how I flew over to Germany, went to the state of Lower Saxony, to the city of Osnabrück, and started working in the finance department there, doing risk assessments, seeing how their accounting department was being transferred to Poland, and so on and so forth, and gathered some amazing experiences there. It was my first time 6 months abroad. I was before that through a scholarship for 1 month doing a language course in Germany, and I visited so many countries and utilized this work experience as much as I could. I flew back to Brazil, studied 1 more year, still didn't have the money to come here to study because the internship was financed through my salary. But at the end, everything is sorted out and arranges itself. Because the neighbors I've had in Brazil many years ago actually moved to Europe, to Germany, and they could sign a document for me saying Marcus can come, we'll take care of any costs if that happens. Never had to utilize that, but this gave me the permission to get a visa. And with this visa, I could work part-time during my studies. So I came here, studied 1 year, and during the whole time I was working at a call center for bills that had to be paid and answering questions. And with that, I financed my studies, got to buy winter clothes for myself, got to go out and do student stuff. I was managing life pretty well with this part-time job that I have had. But I also knew that I wanted to get a job in this country at the end. So what could I do to increase my chances and to actually get a job that I wanted and to build a career in this country? Being a foreigner, not having German as my mother tongue, and having to develop myself in all of those matters. I had already done a lot of work, so I started learning German back in Brazil many years ago. I had this experience at a huge German company in the automotive industry, Audi, through this internship in Brazil. I got the internship 6 months at a VW factory in Germany, which already gave me the status of having some kind of German experience, which was great. I started looking for trainee programs. Trainee programs are pretty much a entry-level opportunity for you to get into companies and where you have the chance of getting to know various departments. So you do various rotations within the company. Sometimes you have the opportunity of going abroad and working pretty much in various projects, building your network within the company, seeing things from different perspectives. And it just sounded like a great opportunity for me to start my career here. I saw one trainee program at a company that I really love, and I applied for it, and at the end it worked out. If you want to see my application letter and my CV back in the day, how I applied for this job, I can totally show that to you and review my CV as a recruiter. Because after I finished the program, during the program I went to HR, recruitment, went to the finance department, price building, and went to the strategy for overseas markets. And after I finished the program, I started working in recruitment, hiring tech talent for this big German OEM. I started hiring software developers, data scientists, UX designers, you call it, and did that for 2.5 years. And during that time, also hired some people for the sales department or for the purchasing departments. In those 2.5 years, I learned a lot about what the skill sets are that are very looked for in German companies, how you negotiate salary, how the company sees CVs, how you have to act during a job interview, or what is really interesting during a job interview. And I could understand this position from the company. So I already had this experience of myself looking for an opportunity abroad and trying to build my career abroad. I have now this experience as a recruiter for a big German company of what you're looking for as a company when hiring people. I understood more and more about all of the visas, the processes, all of the bureaucracies you have to do when you're moving countries. And now I'm working as an HR business partner at the same company, taking care of their trainee program. And this has been a very fulfilling experience for me. The sky is the limit. I have still many years to go, but I'm happy about the place where I am now and about the life that I am living, because it is not only about doing a job that I absolutely love and that brings me joy, brings me the contact with amazing, motivated people, brings me experience about how to deal with various kinds of situations, some project management, and to dive into some law aspects of the job and so on and so forth. It also is about the life that I live. 2 weeks time, I'm going to break into a trip to Italy, where I'm going to visit various cities, meet friends that I've made years ago, and also enjoy a little bit of the weather that is getting warmer right now. Last year I went to France, I went to Bulgaria, I already went to Albania. This is one of the main benefits and one of the key points of working here in Europe. You have such a good access to different cultures, different countries, different languages. And this is one of the things that I love. With the job that I have, I'm not rich, but I have the means of living the life that I want to live. And this is the message that I want to give to you. This is a little bit of my story, how I've built my career up until now, and how you can also think about it yourself. It might seem really far away, it might seem impossible, but at the end, trust the process. Invest in yourself, educate yourself, learn different languages, study, see what are the legal possibilities from each and every country, because many aspects, yes, are luck, but one phrase that I've heard many years ago said, luck is like a train which always passes by, but you have to have the ticket. You have to be prepared to get into it. Prepare yourselves, trust the process, and your dreams will too come true. Subscribe to this channel, follow me on Instagram, because here I take you into your journey for building an international career. Thank you. Bye.